think I'm live. I don't know what's I don't know if this is actually working or not. I'm told there's about a 15-minute delay or something like that, so I guess we'll find out. I can see there's 9 people watching, so, and I see somebody said hello from Texas. So yeah, never done this before. Completely new. My brother does it all the time, obviously. He's a bit of an expert at it. What could possibly go wrong? Happy Easter, Kim H from Minnesota. Thanks very much. It's good to know you're enjoying the History Channel. So this is all new. I've got a few things to kind of chat about. I thought I'd kind of jump on for 20 minutes, half an hour, just kind of say hello, see who's out there, take any kind of questions. So if anybody's got any questions, feel free to just fire them at me. I take it you can hear me okay. Happy Easter, Nadine. Has anybody else stuffed themselves full of chocolate today? I am probably high on a mixture of chocolate, eggs and caffeine at the moment, so if anything goes wrong, I'm going to blame it entirely on that. All I will say is I was under pressure to eat those chocolate eggs. But yeah, I thought I'd kind of jump on, have a bit of a chat. I've got a bit of a weird announcement, what got you started with putting out this content? Happy Easter, Linda Wall. You can hear me okay, good. Grand. What got me started with history content? It's a good question, actually. A lot of people have actually asked me if I'm a history teacher or something like that, but I don't have any kind of history of teaching. I am married to a teacher. I don't know if that kind of if that counts for anything in terms of teaching skills. I don't think it's something that you can kind of pass on that way. But so I'm not a teacher. My uncle's a teacher. My wife's a teacher. So there's a few people kind of a couple of my in-laws are also teachers. But I'm not really a historian. I'm not a teacher. I'm actually a fraud manager. So I work for a tech company. My job is to chase fraudsters around the internet, which sounds quite bizarre, but it's kind of a fun thing to do. You see some interesting stuff out there. How did I get started on the history stuff? I love a good story. And I've spent far too much time sitting in pubs with my friends, just kind of hearing stories, I suppose, and I've kind of remembered a lot of them over the years, so I kind of got started out. I think the first video I ever did was a bit messy. My sister-in-law took my wife wild swimming in a frozen Scottish loch in the middle of February in the Highlands, and I thought, I could give that a go. So a couple of days later, we actually, hello Caroline Parker from my family, that's my wife. But a true bard, I'll take that. I don't know if I'm a true bard. I'll take that though. Thank you. So my sister-in-law talked us into going wild swimming. I made a video about that. It was very scrappy. The sound quality was quite abysmal, but I enjoyed it. And then it was getting towards Christmas, and I remembered this story that I'd heard about Charles Dickens being really short-sighted and being in a graveyard in Edinburgh and misreading the name on a gravestone. And the name he misread on the gravestone was Ebenezer Scroggie. And he misread it as, so it said on the gravestone, Ebenezer Scroggie, Muleman. So don't forget to hit thumbs up. Is there a thumbs up button on here? I can't actually see it. I'll hit the thumbs up button later if I get it wrong. The best worst poet. Yes, William McGonagall. Actually, I'm going to make a video that he kind of slightly appears in over the next couple of days. So yeah, I got into the history thing because I just love a good story. So I started telling that story. It went down pretty well. I got really into it, and then I kind of thought about other stories. I think my favourite video I've ever made was not William McGonagall. My favourite video I've ever made is one about Deacon William Brodie, who was a kind of shady character. He was the deacon of works in Edinburgh, and he was a locksmith who was also very good at picking locks, and basically had a little bit of a dark double life where he would basically rob people at night. And I just enjoyed putting that video together so much that kind of got me into the historical stuff. Hopefully I think that's the kind of stuff I'm going to continue with. Just because it kind of keeps my interest. There's all sorts of other things. Obviously, Scotland's not short on scenery and things like that. There's places you can go. There's videos you can make just with scenery. But I enjoy the history stuff because I just like a good story. And I like to kind of find the history stuff and make it funny if I can. Thank you very much, Linda Wall. The stories and legends are so fun to hear. Yeah, I kind of, I do like a bit of a legend, but yeah, it's kind of I've done bits where it kind of goes into legend a little bit too much. I'm always a little bit fearful of that. Obviously, let me know what you think in the comments. I kind of, part of me is kind of thinks that maybe I should stick to the actual verified history and kind of do it that way. Other things I'm thinking about doing in the near future are kind of biographies, which are maybe more kind of talking head style videos that I can produce more of. Lady Tammy McCarroll, thank you very much. You love how I tell a story. Thank you, I'll take that. Yeah, I just love telling a story, basically. Enjoy hearing the history and the legends. That is good to know. You love the bios, Barb? Yeah, I like the bios as well. I might actually do some bios that aren't necessarily, I might start a separate channel, I don't know, or I might put them on the Scotland Unplugged channel where I kind of start doing some bios that are not necessarily Scottish, because there are other kind of bigger subjects for bios that maybe would be quite interesting in a video, and the challenge is maybe to make them quite funny. So the likes of Winston Churchill, or at the other end of the spectrum, Rasputin, or, you know what I mean, just kind of interesting historical figures. It's always the challenge of making it snappy and interesting at the same time, and keeping it quite sharp and funny. What was I going to talk about tonight? So bit of a weird announcement. So the thing I get asked quite often is a true bio of Graham. You want a true bio of Graham? Funny you say that, actually, because I know that Graham has been working on a true bio of Graham, and I've been kind of helping him out a little bit with it. You love the mixture of legend, myth, and fact. Stephanie, that's good to know. It's all good feedback. Legends are cool, Wendy, thank you. It's all good to know. All the feedback is good. So yeah, this could all go horribly wrong. Never done it before. It's possibly a bit like a Dr. Pepper advert. The mixture of stimulants could make it all go horribly wrong. What was I going to talk about though? Yeah, so what's kind of coming up is, one of the questions I get asked quite often is, can I make more content? So what I'm going to do is, for the next few months, I'm going to take some time out from my actual job, from my actual career, and I'm going to do YouTube full time for possibly about 10 months, and we'll see how it goes. Won't just be YouTube that I'm doing bits of writing as well. So I've always done bits of writing in the background. I've written a couple of crime novels that I'm gonna publish, either self-publish or get published via a publisher. And then I've got a couple of actual non-fiction books that I'm working on as well. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm taking 10 sort of months out to do that. And that's the kind of challenge. Thanks, Linda. It's good to know you can't wait. I can't wait to actually get something done with it as well. It's quite a big kind of challenge. It's obviously a big step, bit of a risk, but I'm quite excited about it. Although I do love my day-to-day job, I do love chasing fraudsters around the internet. If I don't do this, then I think, to be completely honest, I'm sort of 45, and I think that if I don't do it now, then I probably might not do it until the point where I kind of retire. So by taking a bit of time out now to do it is probably the best thing to do. What's coming up in the near future? So I'm working on a video about Greyfriars Cemetery. So somebody mentioned William McGonagall earlier on. McGonagall is actually buried in Greyfriars Cemetery. So I've been kind of writing that this afternoon. I'm going to go and head down there at some point. I'm also working on a video on William Wallace, which is, he's a big subject in terms of Scottish history. He has kind of a massive subject. So it's one that I've almost been putting off for a little while, just in terms of, always do your bucket list when you can. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly, Wendy. I think it's, yeah, if I don't do it now, I never will. So yeah, definitely worth doing. Yeah, so working on the one about William Wallace, I think it's, he's a big subject, so I've been putting it off, and I've put a lot of kind of thought into the actual video. It's almost like whiskey sitting in a barrel or something like that. It has time to kind of sit for a while and develop. So there's a lot of kind of work going into it, there's a lot of research going into it, so I'm going to be about to start kind of filming that, and that's going to involve a lot of different locations, a lot of sort of all the kind of really on the trail of William Wallace. Interestingly, I've actually been reading a very good book called On the Trail of William Wallace, which has been part of my kind of research, which is definitely worth looking up. It's by a guy called David Ross. If you're into Scottish history at all, definitely check that one out. So yeah, over the next week I'm on holiday and I'm going to be running about like a headless chicken trying to make this William Wallace video, which I'm kind of looking forward to. What else is happening? Last week I was in a nuclear bunker. That was fun. That's my cousin just popped up there. Hope you're doing well, Ross. Cheers for that. The last person I thought was going to pop up on my YouTube channel on a Sunday night. I don't know why. I didn't think you liked technology, Ross, or social media. But good to see you anyway. Yeah, so last week I was in a nuclear bunker. Thanks, Barb. It's good to know you enjoyed that one. The nuclear bunker. So I kind of told the story of how I wound up there in the first place, and kind of nearly got very much in the bad books with my wife in the process because we were actually going out for dinner or going out for lunch on our wedding anniversary, and I kind of saw a sign that said secret bunker. I went, we've got to go and see what that is. We did go for a nice lunch afterwards, to be fair, but my poor wife puts up with so much, really, she does. Like me abandoning her for like Easter dinner to go and do a live feed back in the house. I'll be back soon. But yeah, so kind of working on that. Enjoyed the kind of nuclear bunker thing. It was kind of good to be back. Barb Ridings, your husband was in the Air Force and spent some time underground at a missile site. I would ask how we found it, but I'm guessing you can't really tell me because it was all very hush-hush, wasn't it? I remember I worked with a guy, so this is going to get a little bit agricultural, but I worked with a guy back home. His name was Richie McClure. Really good guy. He was a dry stone diker. And we were working on a wall on my dad's farm. A bit like my brother. He's a bit of an artist when it comes to dry stone diking and that kind of traditional kind of craft that goes into that. But Richie was wearing a flight suit, and I couldn't work out how tangent. Yeah, I'm going off on a tangent. I always go off on tangents. Richie was wearing a flight suit, and I couldn't work out how. But he had like pads on his knees, like kind of the kind of things you would write notes on. And I asked him why he was wearing a flight suit instead of a normal kind of working overalls, and he said, "I can't tell you." So kind of quizzed him a bit more about it. Still couldn't tell me. He was like, I'm never going to tell you, but that's all I can say is I can't tell you. But I got this along with my job that isn't my job. That's something else I do. So I asked my mum, and she said, "Oh, he'll be in the Royal Observers Corps. He probably works in that bunker at the top of the village." So unbeknownst to me, there was actually a little kind of bunker buried at the top of the village that I grew up in. And apparently these things are all over the place. They've just all been kind of stripped out over the years, but it's nice to kind of go in and see the history. But yeah, I have gone off on a tangent. What am I working on? William Wallace. I'm also working on the Greyfriars video. There is a poltergeist in Greyfriars Church, apparently. It's supposed to be the most haunted cemetery in the world. Yeah, they are all over the world. I think there's quite a few different kind of. I would imagine the bunkers in different countries are very different. I haven't seen the movie of Greyfriars, Bobby, Kim. That is something that I'm gonna check out probably as part of my research. Although this week is getting quite hectic in terms of just all the stuff I've actually got to get done. But yeah, apparently it's the most haunted cemetery in the world. So I'm going to go and check that out. I'm quite looking forward to it. I don't believe in ghosts, but I did live in a haunted house, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Genuinely, I don't believe in ghosts in the sense that a lot of people believe in ghosts, but there are some weird things that go on that I couldn't explain. Am I going to go at night? No chance. I will be on location in Greyfriars, but I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be there in the dark. I was doing the kind of research on it, and I've heard horrific things that happen to people that go to Greyfriars in the dark. It's people kind of turning up with like scars and things like that the next day. But apparently there's a sort of, I'll tell you in the video anyway. But ghosts, you wouldn't go at night either, Wendy. No, probably not ideal. The house I lived in, it was weird. I've got a stepbrother who's an engineer, and he worked on submarines and things. So very kind of pragmatic guy, very technically minded. And he stayed in my room while I was away. and he couldn't work out why something was pinging the bottom of the mattress. And being an engineer, he got quite frustrated, and he actually finished up. He had the mattress off the bed. He was looking at the springs, couldn't work out what was going on, and the only thing he could see was that there was like no explanation for why something was pinging the bottom of the bed. Caroline Parker says she loves a good ghost story. I'm not sure you do. If I started telling you ghost stories here at midnight, we'll see. I'll do that later on and see what happens. But yeah, I love a good ghost story as well, just probably not one that's based on anywhere where I am. My brother has a very good ghost story where he thinks he saw the ghost of my great aunt driving a vintage car into a silage pit, but that's another story entirely. Yeah, so you can see a Halloween special. I too can see a Halloween special as well. Jacqueline Vrooman, you didn't believe in ghosts till you saw one. I have never seen a ghost. I've heard some really strange things. When I lived in that house, this is taking an unexpected turn. When I lived in that house, supposedly the old lady that had lived in the house before had fallen down the stairs. And I was sort of in my bed one night, and I got up, went to the toilet, came back, and I heard somebody falling downstairs, and I thought, I'm just imagining things. And then I went back to sleep and I heard somebody falling down the stairs again. So I don't know what was going on there. But every morning I used to hear somebody walking down the stairs and smacking their head off the kind of beam above the staircase. It was a really old staircase. But that was actually just my brother, and that kind of serves him right for being 6'4" and lanky. And that was just a nice wake-up call, hearing James smacking his head off a beam every morning. So yeah, gonna make that. Quite like to do a Halloween special, definitely. There are a lot of ghost stories where I grew up. You can imagine, if you don't know, I'm from a place called Wintonshire in Dumfries and Galloway, and it's full of like stories of headless horsemen, and I think I told the story of the horsemen of Merton in one of my videos, it was a short, so it was only about a minute long, so I didn't go into the history of it. But apparently the horseman rode to the old church, took a bet that he could ride there and bring back the Bible just as proof that he'd been there. And the next morning they found him and his horse, both having been gutted on the moors after they didn't turn up. But yeah, poor James, eh? He's an unfortunate man. He just set himself up for these things. But on the plus side, he is 6'4" and much more handsome than I am. So you can't win everything. Yeah, so yeah, what else is happening? Yeah, lots of content coming your way in terms of gonna try and do 2 videos a week. Gonna try and do those biographical videos that aren't necessarily gonna be Scottish. Don't know how people feel about that. Let me know in the comments. It would be good to know kind of if that fits. Maybe start putting some of them out and see kind of how they go. But kind of big kind of subjects like Napoleon, that kind of thing. Barb Ridings, I'll take those 3 thumbs up as a good sign, possibly, in terms of the biography thing. But yeah, there's obviously lots of Scottish related content that I can do. You'll watch anything I put up. Thanks for that. Yeah, it's quite a lot going on. So I'm going to try and get at least 2 videos out a week, along with the actual writing that I'm doing. And that should keep me quite busy at the moment. What with kind of renovating this old house around me and bringing up 3 kids, it's all quite busy. But yeah, has everybody had a decent Easter, I take it? Has everybody eaten quite as much chocolate as I have? History and legends are awesome no matter where they happened. True, I would agree with that. I always think that it says Scotland Unplugged. Maybe I'll get done for Trade's description or something. You'd listen to me read the phone book. I'll take it. Yes. I don't know. It's I think I wish I had more of a Barry White voice. That would be better, wouldn't it? I always think that Mr. T should be the voice of Sat Nav, or maybe Brian Blessed. I don't know if you know who Brian Blessed is. You're getting ready to eat them. Yeah, quite right. I've eaten so much chocolate. Good. It's good to see. Are there any megalithic structures you can show us around Scotland? Megalithic, as in kind of Stonehenge type things. Is that the kind of thing you're looking for? There is a very cool thing Cool. Yeah, there is a very, very cool thing back home. It actually appeared in one of my videos, and it's there's lots. There's the kind of the Callanish stones, that kind of thing. Famously, I think those are the stones that Billy Connolly danced naked round. Billy Connolly, generally Scottish comedian, will take an excuse to dance naked around anything he can. But on this occasion, he actually went to the Callanish stones and told a story about nobody really knows what the Druids and the Picts did in these places. Yeah, I'm not going to do the naked dancing. Nobody needs to see that, especially on a nobody needs to even think about that on a Sunday night. Mrs. Henderson, you're home recovering from a total knee. You're taking the edge off the uncomfortable. Good, good, good. You're in Washington. Good, nice. Yeah, so there's this really cool stone circle back home. It's called Torhouse Stone Circle, and it's up on a hillside. It's very, very cool, and it's just kind of looks like your basic stone circle. I think there's some stones in the middle of it, and allegedly it's the place where King Galdus is buried, and King Galdus was the king of the kind of Picts in that part of the world, and he was like a Caledonian freedom fighter who kind of saw off the Romans. Allegedly, nobody really knows if he existed. He's thought not to have been buried there. He's also thought to have possibly been buried in a place called Cairnholy, which is another kind of Neolithic site near the same area. It's a kind of chambered cairn and a burial site. We could definitely do a video about that. But yeah, it's a really cool place. It's one of my kind of favourite places, but it's just by the side of the road as I'm sort of driving home from usually getting drunk with my cousin Ross, who just popped up there. You would kind of drive along that way and there'd just be this random stone circle next to you. But King Galdus supposedly is buried there, and he was supposed to be some kind of Caledonian freedom fighter. I'd love to know if he was, but nobody's ever thought to go digging or kind of actually doing any kind of scanning of the ground or anything like that. That's the kind of area I grew up in. There's so much history around that you probably couldn't check half this. Ross is laughing because he knows. God, we've been up to so many bad things together over the years in terms of drunken stories. I won't repeat any of them here. But yeah, I will definitely do that, Valencia. I'll try and make a video about that. It does appear in a video I made about Robert the Bruce. I think I just put it in because I was on the way home from somewhere and not getting drunk with Ross this time. And I just happened to kind of film it because I thought it was just a nice kind of image. The sun was going down. So definitely worth a video for that. And there's also a really cool thing near there. It's called the Bridal Stone, and it's a big like standing stone thing with a hole through it. You haven't eaten any chocolate yet. It's only 11:45 a.m. I was eating chocolate at about 10 o'clock this morning because I have young children, and they basically repeat them. What am I repeating? Just the pictures of the actual stones. Yeah, so I was eating chocolate at 10 o'clock this morning. Repeat the stories. No. I could tell you a story about how he went to the barber's once in the wrong football strip and nearly got his ears chopped off, but I'm not going to repeat that. He loved the ancient histories, also drunken histories. Do you know there's a TV program in the UK called Drunk History, which is slightly the inspiration for this channel, not because I was drunk. The first crime novel I ever wrote was based on a drunken theory about how you could smuggle stuff really easily. And a few years later, I kind of dredged it up. In fact, I think Ross was there when we were talking about that as well. We had this idea about how you could very easily smuggle things into southwest Scotland because there's a little airport in the middle of nowhere. And that's kind of what I based my first crime novel on. Everybody loves the drunk history. Clan history, myth and legend. You could start with Mulroy's. They kind of will pop up in a video that I'll make shortly because, can everyone watching please do a thumbs up? Been having Sunday lunch with my 3 siblings. Fabulous meal together. Awesome. That's really good. It's kind of good to get the family together. So that's where I've been. I've been at my wife's family's, or my mother-in-law's house with my wife's family, just having Easter dinner. It's been really good. Been a bit spoiled, really, to be honest. Kristen G, love the way I tell stories. Good. Thanks for that. It's I love telling stories. Basically, I talk too much, as you can possibly tell from this chat right now. But yeah, so Oh, what was I talking about? See, tangents. Keep going off at tangents. Yeah, so basically, a lot of content coming in. Let me know in the comments the kind of thing that you want to see. Aaron Moffat, you've got me on the big screen there. Thanks for that. That's quite frightening. Hopefully, you're not going to record it on the big screen. No, you can't actually do that. That's good. I don't want to see myself on a big screen ever. Kathleen Dolan, you vote for clan history, maybe some real shady characters. Yes, the Mulroys. My actual middle name is Mulroy Glenn, Robert Mulroy Glenn Parker. My brothers both have the same middle names. My sons both have the same middle names. Maybe that's child cruelty, I'm not sure. People always mispronounce it though. They think it's pronounced Milroy, like Millhouse or something like that. Happy Easter to you as well, Teresa. So yeah, I might do something about them because they were Covenanters. In Wigtown, where I kind of grew up, there were some local martyrs, and the gravestones. It's kind of a crazy story. There were two women who were martyred because they were Covenanters, so they refused to submit to the Church of England, and they basically were drowned at a stake. And there's a kind of a monument to them near the harbour near Wigtown, but there's also a martyr's grave. And a couple of my ancestors are actually on that grave. I don't know why it's quite a grim thing to think about. But yeah, these people obviously died because they felt so strongly about their religion. And that's definitely worth a video, I would say, at some point. Caroline Parker, give all the kids at Slateford a shout out, please. They're very excited for your live. What, do you want me to name them one by one? So Jack, Sophie, James, Ewan, Cammy and Ailey, hello. Hope you're enjoying this. Sharon, sorry, I completely missed that. Just popped up there. But yeah, those are all the kids back in the house that are clearly watching this. So yeah, this has been the time seems to be kind of flying in. I'm gonna stick around for another 3 minutes, and then I have to go and pick up my wife and son to come back here and watch a Marvel movie and probably eat more chocolate, to be honest. Remember to pet your furry buddy. Do you mean Jasper? He was here a minute ago. I take it you're talking about Jasper. Jasper is possibly the most evil cat I've ever owned. He keeps turning up with dead presents. I think this morning's effort was a pigeon. I have seen him go after magpies, and I think he's working up to a seagull or something along those lines. In fact, the other day, Jasper saw off a fox, which could have gone horribly wrong if his ego had gotten the better of him. Did I study history? Or did I come by this by deep knowledge? Caroline, mega excitement there, thank you. Good stuff. I'll see you all in about 15 minutes or something. So did I study history? No, not at all. Part of me kind of wishes I had. I actually studied design. I desperately wanted to be a car designer, but I didn't really know the way in. It's not like, obviously, 25 years ago, it wasn't like today where you could just look it up on the internet. How do you get into car design? And that was really what I wanted to do. You may have guessed that cars kind of run in the family. We're all a bit obsessed with them. So yeah, that's what I really wanted to do. So I studied design. So, but I turned up to a class. It was called interior architecture. Yeah, it's definitely good to see people popping up, Barbie. Right, it's good to see. Good to see my cousin and my wife and my brother-in-law popping up on. It's good to see everybody popping up, actually. So yeah, I was really into sort of car design, so I turned up on this course, and it was called interior architecture. But I think a lot of people thought they were turning up to design cushions, so it was an interesting mix. Thanks for Kim H, thanks for doing live. Well, thanks for turning up. Sorry, I completely missed the comment below this. The comments kind of turn up on the screen. No, there we go. Careers are still like that. Have to have an in. It's sad. Yeah, I know. It's kind of true. I think the internet's made it a little bit easier. Dead presents are an honour from your pets. They honour you. I know. Sounds a bit Gladiator, doesn't it? Yeah, Jasper. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Alien versus Predator, where the predators bring the actual aliens down to Earth and put them in a giant pyramid. So Jasper basically thinks that our house is like that. He comes in here at 3 o'clock in the morning usually. He currently gets locked out overnight because usually he turns up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I've seen myself chasing mice around the house at 3 o'clock in the morning, basically because I want to get them outside, because all I can hear is the cat go all over the floor, making as much noise as possible while I'm trying to sleep. So yeah, that's why Jasper is a pain in the neck, because he's ruined my sleep pattern. Ross, I just saw you popping up there. Really, really good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to shoot off. But this has been fun. Thanks for all turning up and making it so much fun. Thanks for all the comments in the videos. Thanks for all the support with the videos. It really is amazing to see all the comments and stuff, and it's really good to see how enthusiastic everybody is. Thank you, Barb. But yeah, I'm going to disappear. Hi, Bob from Kay and Rory. Ross is very hungover in the kitchen, giggling away to himself, watching you. We love your videos. Hi, Kay and Rory. Kay and Rory are Ross's wife and son. Thank you all for turning up. Good stuff. See you again soon. Cheers.